Welcome to Smack Talk with Chidi Bang. Man, Smackdown is cooking right now. Definitely got to talk about it. Definitely want to just express my thoughts on the show tonight. It looks like Solo Sokoa has shown Paul Heyman his head of the table manners, and by that means he put that motherfucker through a table for loyalty to his tribal chief. That and more on tonight's Smack Talk with Chidi Bang. Please, thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, do all that good shit. Follow us on all the medias of socialness. We are RW Podcast One on Twitter. We're pretty much Reba Wrestling everywhere else. Definitely tap in, watch us live on Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and even Wednesdays if Joint Roll Ayatollah chooses to. We're cover AEW. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about tonight's Smackdown and the official, I guess, coronation of the new tribal chief, Solo Sikoa. Man, I've been a big fan of Solo Sikoa, and I think in a very short time from his rookie year in WWE till now, he has a presence, he has a character, he has motivation, he knows the moment, he understands his place, and it looks like he's gearing up to be a main eventer in a very short amount of time. Now, do I see him as a future champion? I don't know. Maybe one day. I don't see that happening this summer, but that's my take. But I think that's not what we're here to talk about. That's not the most important thing about what Solo's doing. What Solo's doing that's important is developing character. I think Solo's character development since he's come into the bloodline until now has been the biggest improvement for him. And ever since WrestleMania, him usurping the power of the bloodline, I did not see coming, and I think it's the best thing for him. He was frustrated with the loss at WrestleMania, so of course he wants to change things. And yeah, he's not looking at himself as the reason why. He took out Jimmy, he now brings in Tama Tonga, then brings in Tangaloa, and now we got the Samoan werewolf himself, Jacob Fatu, who looks hella impressive. The dude lost like 35 pounds. Hopefully, yeah, all like 35 pounds before coming into back to wrestling. Man, and if you know about him on the indies, the dude's a freaking monster, bro. Like when it comes to the things he can do, he can put on bangers. So I can't wait to see him perform. His entrance tonight makes me see that even the people up in the back know his worth, and they gave him his moment, and they did the whole flames and pyro, and he came out, and then they dimmed the lights, made the red lights red, the eclipse on each side of the Titantrons, and then the werewolf. I love what they were doing with his entrance. So it seems like they're trying to present him as a star, which I love. But just like Tamatanga and Tangaloa, they're going to have to earn their stripes over the next year, just like Solo did as the enforcer for Roman Reigns. And I think they're all in the perfect spot because they're in one of the biggest storylines in wrestling, if not the biggest, So this is just an incubator for growth. And I think that the bloodline itself has incubated and made people grow extremely fast when it comes to their development on the microphone, development as a character, development in the ring. So I think Solo is a perfect example of why the bloodline has been so successful. Him being able to, be the top heel for this storyline, have us chant, "We want Roman," and all that stuff, have the dominance to, set things up in place to take out Cody Rhodes and to take out Randy Orton and Kevin Owens all this time and to establish himself as the top heel on SmackDown, I think has been a masterclass. I think there's a lot of people are not giving him the credit that he deserves as the heel on SmackDown. But tonight, I think people will start to, because tonight, when he set up the ceremony and he clearly said it's time for everybody to acknowledge me. He has not yet to use those words, acknowledge me. And I thought that was telling tonight. He is stepping into the place of Roman Reigns officially and saying, yes, this is my bloodline. I run this shit. I'm in control. I'm the head of the table. I'm the tribal chief. He had all of his men, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and Jacob Fatu, step up, get on the microphone, and acknowledge him. And then he calls Paul Heyman to come acknowledge him. Paul Heyman with the scruffy beard, bloodshot eyes, his hair is graying, looking disheveled as a motherfucker. He looks like he has got lost sleep. And that's why I love Paul Heyman so much. He's dedicated to the character, man. He's the best manager, or whatever you want to say, advocate, wise man, whatever you want to call him. He's the best manager in wrestling history. And tonight is just another example of why the dude dives in fully into his character, that he's completely intimidated and scared of these guys. You can see it written all over his face, and you can see it in his way he wears his suit, the beard, the eyes, bloodshot, the way he is about to cry almost when Solo pulls out the beads and demands him to acknowledge him, the tribal chief. And he holds those beads, he kisses those beads, and he sits there and he's like, I acknowledge. And he just can't do it. He says, I acknowledge that you are not my tribal chief. And we knew. The whole crowd popped. We loved it. We knew what was coming next. And that was an assault. But and there was nobody to save him, because earlier in the night, when the show started, Solo Sikoa came out, but right behind them pulled up was Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. They pulled out walked through Gorilla just like Solo and his crew, and they brawled out in the ring. KO did a fantastic swanton in Madison Square Garden off the high rise through a table on Tangaloa. We got some RKOs to the security, but it was a good start to the show. Super, super hot. Shot the show off. But after that, once they cleared the ring of the bloodline, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens took out the security. Nick Aldis couldn't control them. They wanted a fight, so he brought out the NYPD to a bunch of boos, of course. And the NYPD had to get them out the ring, and they sent them away out of the arena. So that already sets the stage that there is nobody to help if the bloodline gets out of hand tonight. And sure enough, when they attacked Paul Heyman, they got out of hand. Solo hit him with the spike. I'm thinking, who's going to come out and save him? Is it going to be Street Profits? Nobody came out to save Paul. Not only did he get spiked, he got punched in the face. He got jumped by the bloodline, and then a triple powerbomb through the announce table. Shout out to Paul Heyman for, at his age, taking those bumps at this time. We here. What's up, man? But shout out to Paul Heyman for taking those bumps, bro. And helping establish and get this angle over even more. That's why I say he's the best of all time at what he does on the microphone, as a manager, as a representative of a wrestler, anybody ever, but yeah, that moment right there establishes Solo Sikoa and this version of Bloodline extremely different than the last bloodline, and they don't need a wise man. So they're pretty much running shit on their own with no reins, nobody to hold them back, no one to pull them back, no one to instruct them to pull back any of the savageness that they want to bring to their foes. So I thought it was a great way to end the show, great way to open the show and set things up for Money in the Bank in a week's time, I believe. Yeah, man. We're going to have a 6-man tag match. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and KO versus the bloodline, the new bloodline, Tangaloa, Tama Tonga, and Solo Sikoa. So that should be a fire match. I think this is all leading towards Solo Sikoa getting a WWE Championship match at SummerSlam. So that's what I'm pretty much anticipating. So I want Solo to win at Money in the Bank. I'm acknowledging the dude. Don't worry. When Roman comes back, I reserve myself to acknowledge Roman too. But right now, I acknowledge Solo. Okay, that's my guy right now, man. So yeah, man. I think that we're in a great place where that storyline is concerned. I think the dull period after WrestleMania has subsided. Once you get to the summertime, things start heating up again, and I think we're off to the races right now. Raw, SmackDown has been running on all cylinders, and to express that even further, the matches tonight showed that, and that in itself, like the triple threat matches to determine the Money in the Bank competitors have been awesome. If you guys haven't been watching over the past couple of weeks, these triple threat matches have almost every single one of them has been a really good match, good to great match. And tonight we got a couple of them, man. So the first one was Jay Cargill and Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton. They had a really good match. I really enjoyed that. A lot of good spots in there. Tiffany Stratton has been in a couple of triple threat matches since being on the main roster that I have seen her. That dynamic. She just works very well, whether it's combination moves with their competitors or the way she sets up her moonsault. So shout out to Tiffany Stratton. She pulled off the victory due to Indy Hartwell coming out, pushing Jaden to the ring post and costing her the match, allowing Indy Hartwell to capitalize on Candice LeRae. So we got Indy Hartwell in the Money in the Bank match. She is definitely a threat to win this thing. I don't think anybody can debate that. It might be Tiffy time come Money in the Bank, because she definitely has the talent to be a future world champion, and the presence and the character. So shout out to Tiffany. We also got my favorite match of the night, Santos Escobar, Logan Paul, and LA Knight. Boy, talk about a match that could have been on any PLE. That match was flame, bro. Now, we're in New York City, Madison Square Garden, the mecca of sports entertainment. My city. I wish I was there in attendance. I wasn't, obviously. But we had Jalen Brunson, front row, repping the Knicks, and everybody, they love Jalen. Of course, he's a star in the city. They went go crazy for him. But Logan Paul, man. Oh my God, Logan Paul, genius move. The dude makes his entrance and brings out Tyler Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers to pretty much tease the fact that they defeated the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, and it just added another layer of energy to this match, because that entire match was good in its own right in itself. LA Knight, man. He can fucking wrestle, bro. The things that he does in the ring tonight, it may be really impressive. I think some of the things he does with power moves, how he jumps to the top of the rope, hits his superplex, or I love how he has improved in the ring over the time that I've seen him since NXT. And LA Knight, honestly, he's prime fit to be a world champion one day, but we will see it that actually manifest. I think that I wanted him to be maybe face Logan Paul, and I think he was kind of beyond the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like, he's already had title matches or a title match. He's had a couple. Yeah, he's had opportunities. So I don't think he needs the briefcase. He's not one of those guys that look at that needs a briefcase to take the next step. To me, you can put him in a heavyweight championship match right now, and it can be fine. But hey, he won the match due to help from Jalen Brunson. Well, Logan Paul, he got the Knucks. The match was going crazy. There was great false finishes, and all that stuff. Eventually, Logan Paul's like, yo, Tyler, do that thing, get that brass knucks. So he pulls up to the side of the rope, ring. I mean, he goes over to the crowd for front row. The guy from Barstool hands Tyler Halliburton the brass knucks. He's telling him to hit, LA Knight with the brass knucks. Jalen Brunson hops to the barricade. They have their own face-off. It's lit. New York is going crazy. I wanted some physicality with Jalen Brunson and Tyler, but I'm sure they didn't want to, do that because, they can't get injured and nothing like that. They weren't, probably paid to get in the ring and all that, but it was a cool spot for them to, get that, Indiana Pacer, New York rivalry over, while also helping the match, because that distraction of Tyler Halliburton and Jalen Brunson facing off allowed for LA Knight to capitalize and eventually roll up or reverse a roll up from Logan Paul to secure the victory. So he will be in the Money in the Bank briefcase match. He's definitely a candidate to potentially win this thing. I'm not going to be mad if he does, even though I said he didn't need it. I'm not gonna be mad if he does. But that was my match of the night, man. Match of the night by far. The moment, it was a moment, and I'm glad they gave Madison Square Garden a moment, because that is, come on, man. We can talk about Chicago. We can talk about, Boston. We can talk about Toronto. We can talk about all these wrestling cities. We can talk about overseas. They're going crazy. Puerto Rico, Scotland, all that shit. When you come to Madison Square Garden, that is the heart and soul of WWE as far as crowd environments. It's not one of those big ass stadiums, and you're gonna feel it when you're there. It just has so much history, So I wish I was there. I didn't even know they were there tonight, but turned it on. I was like, yeah, all right, I gotta make it the next time. Next time I will be in Madison Square Garden to be there for a Raw or SmackDown. I gotta make it, because that was a moment. We also had what do we have? Tiffany, not Tiffany. Naomi, Indy Hartwell, and Babe. No, is it Babe Priestley? Is that what they're calling her? I think that's her name. But they had a triple threat for Blair Davenport. Her old name was Babe Priestley. So they had a triple threat match for their qualification for the Women's Money in the Bank. That was the second one of the night. And Naomi pulled it out because Jay Cargill came out to return the favor to Indy for the interference prior in the match. Really good match too. Nothing to complain about here, But all in all, a good night, man. The whole night was good. I might be missing something, but the backstage segments, we had a couple of backstage segments. Carmelo's talking his shit. We have a tag team match with DIY and A-Town Down Under coming up next week on SmackDown. So we got a couple of things to look forward to, where as we gear towards Money in the Bank, and afterwards as well as we gear towards SummerSlam. So I'm really excited for the space that we're in. But man, I think that angle at the end of the show was really the biggest takeaway. That Solo doesn't need the wise man anymore. And that the wise man, Paul Heyman, is willing at his age, already a Hall of Famer, to still sacrifice himself for the business, whether it be diving so deep into his character that he's on the verge of tears, or not getting sleep, or not shaving, and then also taking that bump through the announce table. Although I'm sure they protected him in some facets, I still don't. You don't, at that age, you don't need to take a bump. I'm sure they're not forcing him. He's volunteering himself, But I really enjoyed SmackDown. I'm telling you, man, we are done with the drought, the post WrestleMania drought. We are now gearing towards SummerSlam. Things are heating up. I'm loving where we're at right now with wrestling. And I think I hit everything. Yeah, that was pretty much the whole show, because it only is a 2-hour show. I prefer a 2-hour show, so I really can't wait to go to Netflix and Raw's 2 hours again. I know that SmackDown will have 3 hours, but I prefer 2-hour wrestling shows. It was very good to getting to end, very concise. We getting great matches real quick. I can go and record a show for you guys, or I can do something else. 3 hours is a bit much. I don't mind 3 hours for a pay-per-view or a PLE, but I love SmackDown for the 2 hours. But that's all we have for you today. I'm going to get up out of here. Gotta watch my nephew. He come say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. We're gonna get up out of here. And all's wrestling, all's love. Everything is wrestling. I'll talk to you on Sunday, guys. Peace out.